The number one problem HighLevel deals with in the first 30 days, we're going to break it down. My name is Pamela Dale, your GHL gal. Stay with me. So recently I was speaking with Varun, who is the co-owner of GoHighLevel, and he said the biggest support issues they face in the first 30 days are domains. And in my experience, so much confusion and so many questions around domains, and it really does make sense. Let's call it. We're not techie, right? So these domains, first, we don't even understand how they really work or what they really are. So I'm going to break down a few of those little things, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I pull a domain and a subdomain into HighLevel. I use Cloudflare and Namecheap. Those combinations don't really matter. The biggest thing I want you to pay attention to is the steps that I'm going to take. And in the blog post that's associated with this, there are instructions on all of the different registrars, the most popular ones on how to get started and how to make that work. So what is a domain? The domain is an address, just like your lot for your house. There are never, ever going to be two addresses in the whole world that are the same. And domains, it must be exactly the same. Because when someone types in that address, the internet needs to know where to send them. So that's the first thing. Right now, if you've purchased it in GoDaddy, all it knows is to send the traffic to GoDaddy. So what you have to do is you have to go to GoDaddy, and we're going to create a little bit of a detour because GoDaddy, Namecheap, Google Domain, they actually own those domains. And that's a whole other post. And it's probably not even important, but they own them. But you can go to GoDaddy and Namecheap and say, hey, I'm over here, and you will direct what's called your domain names. And I'll show you how to do that as well. There are three parts to any domains. It's actually called the URL. So the domain is the root domain, and that is yourdomain.com. So when you go to a domain, it's usually yourdomain.com/home/lead magnet1/page1. That slash is called a path or a slug. So that root domain can only have one house on it, right? That lot. So it's got one house, and then the slash is like the living room, the basement, etc. And over time, that house gets a little bit crowded, right? So then what you might do is start another domain, but that's what that is. And then the domain and the slash with the path creates the whole URL. So when we say, what's your URL? That's the full with the slash. And then what's the root? That's the yourdomain.com. And a www is actually a subdomain. So subdomains are like the she shed out back. They're on the same lot, but what we're saying is don't go to the main house. I want you to go over here to the she shed or the pool or you get where I'm going, right? So we're going to break down a little bit further here in a couple of minutes when I jump into my accounts and show you what that looks like. But it's really important to understand that the root domain does need a place to go. And every funnel website membership area inside of HighLevel also needs to have the slash, right? Because if you've got yourdomain.com goes to landing page number 1, then what you need to understand is what do you do with the thank you page? And what do you do with lead magnet number 2? If you put them all on that same route, you're going to have those paths at the end. And then that's going to create that URL that you're going to need. Subdomains are free. That's another really great thing to understand is that once you own the domain, yourdomain.com, that's yours forever and ever. So you can create as many subdomains out front as you want. And I always recommend you do create a number of them because then you're not crowding your house, right? You've got this big lot. You can make it as big as you want. And then you've got all these different places around it that you can send and direct traffic to keep things a little bit more separate for yourself. And then also it's really challenging to remember all of those domains slash. So those URLs, every one of them is going to have a path. And how do you get them to this calendar and that calendar? So what I do is not only buy root domains, but I also will create the subdomain. So it's call.PamelaJoneGale.com, right? But I also have speakwithpamela.com, and I have speakwithpamela.com/15-minute call/coaching call/SaaS call, etc. Right? So depending on how you want to put it all together inside of your account. So I mentioned briefly a couple of words. The first one was the domain name system or DNS. We need to go to GoDaddy or Namecheap and say, where do you want to move this to? What's the address if you're going to move the domain? So I move the domain over to Cloudflare because it's an extra layer of security and I find it very easy to use once I get started. I'm able to do the redirects, the subdomains, and add all of my records in. And I like the extra security of it. So I'm going to break that down for you in just a moment. We're going to jump into Cloudflare. So we need to go to our domain registrar. Mine is Namecheap, and we're going to change the DNS based on what Cloudflare tells me to do. Okay, so I have a Cloudflare account. It is free to get started, and I'm going to add a new domain. I'm going to go over to Namecheap to my domain name server. My domain name server. And this is where I bought it. So this one I'm going to bring in is cremacanella.com. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click manage. Inside of GoDaddy, it will be a little bit different, but you want to find manage DNS. And then what I'm going to do is name servers. I'm going to change this to custom and it's going to ask for 2 name servers. We could do this in this order or go into Cloudflare first. Either is fine. So let's jump over to Cloudflare. Once you start a Cloudflare account, you need to be sure that you have verified your email address or this won't work. So that's a really important step. And then over here, you might see a blue button or you will see a gray one, but you're looking for something that says add a site. So let's add that site. And we are going to add the root, not the www, because remember, www is a subdomain. So we're going to go cremacanella.com. And if your spelling is anything like mine, you're going to copy as much as possible to be sure, because this is really important. No spaces as well. We're going to add that site. What it's going to do is it's going to scan and see where is that site at the moment. But we're going to scroll down first. We're going to click free and continue. Now it's going to do a quick scan for us. And we're going to go all the way down and I'm going to click continue. I'm going to ignore this. I'm going to click continue because here's what I need. It says, oh, you've got your servers here from Namecheap, but you need to move them over to here. So I'm going to copy the first one. I'm going to come to Namecheap and I'm going to paste that in. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the exact same thing. And I'm going to paste it in the second one. And I'm going to go, yes, save. A little check mark, hard to see at first. Now we're totally done in Namecheap. I'm going to go ahead and close that window out so that it keeps us a little bit cleaner on our desktop. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to go done, check name servers. Now that might take a few minutes. So what I always do is click finish later. And I'm going to come over here to DNS. They're still pending, so that's fine. We're going to wait a few minutes. So the way that the internet works is IP addresses, and that's what all these numbers are. But for us to not have to worry about remembering all those numbers, it's cremacanella.com. That's what we've told the system, right? So if I come over to client tracks here quickly, and I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to go to domains, and I'm going to add a new domain. I'm going to add the root domain in here. So I know I need an A record. So I'm going to copy a new IP address. So what I'm saying to the internet is don't send them here anymore. Send them over to my GoHighLevel white labeled account here. So I've copied that and I'm going to come in and this is my A record. You can only have one A record for a root domain. So if you see an AA or other A records, you need to delete them. One of the tricks I do before I delete anything is I screenshot everything so that I know that if I make a mistake, I can go back. And there are some records that are a little bit longer like this one, and I will actually go in and copy them up as well, just to make sure. That's what I did when I first started because it was challenging for me to understand what all these records are. But today we're just going to concern ourselves with the A record and the C name. So the A record, you can see it's pointing here. I need to edit it and change it so that it points towards GoHighLevel. And I'm going to turn this off. It's a DNS only. That's the way it needs to work for high level. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit save. Now, the www, as I mentioned, is subdomain. If you type cremacanella.com and you type www.cremacanella.com, they won't go to the same place unless you tell them to. So we're going to tell it to go to the same place by editing this one here. And we're just going to put that. And we're going to go ahead and hit save. Now, let's go in and see if it's ready to jump into high level. So I'm going to go ahead and type cremacanela.com, and we're going to hit add. Can't find it. Okay, excellent. I went, oh, because see, Pamela's can't spell. And I've seen that 1,000 times when I am on the interwebs with people. So boom, look, it worked. This next screen that you're going to see is how are you going to point the route? So if I just type cremacanela.com, what is it that you want to show? In the dropdown, we're going to look for a funnel or a website that we'd like to add it to. If you don't have one at the moment, you can go ahead and click anything for now, or what you can do is leave it blank. You also need to choose the default step. And then this is the 404. We covered that in another video. And I'm going to go ahead and link domain. If you do not link the domain, what's going to happen is you're going to get a 404 error. So it's really important to come back or remember 404 error. I wonder if I linked my root domain. So we're going to do a little bit more work over in Cloudflare first, and then we're going to come back here and I'm going to show you inside of GoHighLevel a couple of more steps, a couple more things to pay attention to. So inside of Cloudflare, what we want to do is right now we have these pointing to each other, but let's go into the SL and let's make sure that we're on full. Make sure this is on full, very important. And then the next thing that you want to pay attention to are the rules, the page rules. So we're going to create a page rule and we're going to copy exactly what is here. Now, this is just a little bit of what they call regex or on internet web language that really I don't understand. And it's not really important at all for you to understand. You're going to choose here the forwarding URL, and this is going to be a 301 permanent. And what I want to happen is that anytime someone types in www.cremacanela.com, no matter what's happening on the end, I want to redirect them to the HTTPS:// just like that, cremacanela.com/$1. So what I'm telling the internet, doesn't matter what this is, send it over here and match it exactly on the back end. And I'm going to save and deploy that page rule. Excellent. So that is now ready to go. It should look exactly like this once you've completed it. You would have gotten an email from Cloudflare saying, your site is now on Cloudflare. Now we know that everything is perfect. If you haven't gotten that email and it still doesn't add in, you may need to wait just a couple of moments, but I saw the email come through, so I knew we were ready to go. So now I've got this in my GoHighLevel account. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to my sites, and I added it on to which one? I can't remember what it was. Let's go back and take a quick look and domain, and I can always edit it here, right? So that's really important to understand. And it's my link tree funnel. So let's go find my link tree funnel. Here it is here. It was my link tree website. So it's really important to name them well. And if I would have put website, it would have been easier for me to find. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to settings and I can see my domain is here. And this is that path that I was talking about. I would clean these up. This is just a training account, so we'll leave it for now. But this is the address for the first page of the funnel. No matter what I have here for the website, there's a page here. So that's really important to understand. And then I can also, under settings, I can change this path for this page. Paths are really important. I love a nice clean path. I think it's like the lipstick on your funnel or your website. It just shows that you're professional. And remember as well that everything is client facing. So now what we're going to do is let's jump to the interwebs and let's type in cremacanela.com. And it's going to take a minute to come up the first time because of the cache. Oh, that worked really well. So that's perfect. And if I double click, you can see I've got my HTTPS. And if I type my www in there as well, you want to make sure it comes to the same site. And it doesn't. The first thing I noticed here was in the SLTLS, this has moved to flexible. So this is really important to be sure that this is still on full. And I'm going to need to click that twice to have it come back. So for some reason, it went back. So if that happens to you and your www is not working, that's going to be part of the reason. So now we're going to wait a few minutes and see if it kicks in for us. Okay. It's really important to check, make sure that everything's working correctly. and then wait it out and keep trying. So now when I come in and I type the www here and the dot and I hit enter, it's going exactly where it's supposed to go. And because it's redirecting, remember we put in that page rule, it's not going to keep the www here. So we've done it. We've added a domain into Cloudflare / GoHighLevel. Now we want to do a subdomain, right? So let's do that. So simple, so easy now that we've got the hang of this. So we've got cremacanola.com. Let's do hello. Doesn't matter. You get to choose. And that's the beautiful thing about these domains and subdomains is the subdomains are fantastic. So we know that it's going to be cremacanola.com, but what's going to be in the front? Let's just put hello dot cremacanola.com. That looks good, right? And for a CNAME, I need, or for a subdomain, I need to have the CNAME because I'm directing the domain. I need to direct the subdomain. So hello is what I'm going to add. So let's come back to Cloudflare. I'm still on Cremacanola. I'm going to come here to DNS and I'm going to add a record here this time. And I'm going to add a CNAME record. So here it was hello. So we're going to go hello. Now, see what's happening here is it actually typed it out for us. So not 2 dots, just 1. So don't put a dot. You want to make sure that this looks like exactly what you want it to look like over here. Okay. So then what we're going to do is our target is what we pasted, no space in the front, no space in the back. And we're going to turn this off for subdomains. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit save. Now we jump over into GoHighLevel and we go add. And just like that, she's added. Same thing happens again. I'm going to put this on my appointment calendar funnel and then my calendar page. And I'm going to go ahead and link that domain. So now when I type hello.cremacanola.com, I'll get to that calendar page. So let's go back here. So now I'm going to type hello dot in here instead. Let's make sure that's finished. It usually takes a minute to add in. Oh, there it goes. It does take a few minutes. So hello, cremacanola.com. And let's go ahead here and hit enter. And it takes me to the calendar page. So you're able to add in as many of these CNAME records or subdomains as you'd like. And you just keep copying and using this. And the root domain, only one. And you're off. The SSL that we saw that we did over here, Cloudflare is free and it is important that is there. If you're getting the HTTPS error, that big red, you don't have the right security, it's really important to check your records that you don't have over too many records over talking to each other. You can see here under my DNS is very clean. The MX records and the TXT records are different, but we're just looking for these. Very, very simple. That's all you need. You don't need to have a bunch of other records. So if you're in something like HostGator or you're in Bluehost, you're going to see a lot of records. But be careful, if there's a website, you can only pull in a subdomain and then you're just going to create a CNAME record and you can do that over in Bluehost. My thoughts are always pull the whole thing over into Cloudflare. If you've ever been hacked, you really want to make sure that's because Cloudflare will help you with hackers. So it's very important. So that is domains, subdomains, www.sl, and everything that you need to get them into GoHighLevel so that you can continue to run your business. And they're all free. You can have unlimited inside of GoHighLevel. You have to purchase a domain, but you can have unlimited inside of your GoHighLevel account. My name is Pamela Dale. Looking forward to seeing you on this road. You need help with domains, reach out.